مشاهدي زووم افريقيا، برحب بحضراتكم واحنا في حلقه خاصه جدا بمرور 30 سنه رواندا بتحتفل بانتهاء المذابح ضد قبيله التوتسي. احنا موجودين مع حضراتكم هنا في احتفاليه خاصه، ومعانا مستر فريدريك جلوبا، هو هيحكي لنا اكتر على تفاصيل المذبحه وكمان ما بعد المذبحه حصل ايه في 30 سنه. Welcome to our program Zoom Africa.
Thank you very much.
Really, I'm very happy to attending the anniversary for 30 years, right?
Yes.
From the genocide until now, there is a lot of changing,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can we highlight what happened in the genocide first?
Well, what happened in the genocide, or rather one could say that the genocide was an organized campaign to exterminate one section of the Rwandan population,
Yeah.
and those were the Tutsis.
Yes.
And their compatriots, the Hutus, were mobilized by
Yeah.
the government and by the politicians to exterminate their compatriots. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there is maybe more than 1 million people, right, killed.
Yeah, apparently from what I have heard, about 1,070,000
Wow.
people were killed
Yeah.
in 100 days.
In 100 days.
100 days.
Yes, yes. And now, 30 years. What happened in 30 years to change the face of Rwanda to be a great country?
Essentially, what has happened over the last 30 years is that, first of all, how politics in the country is organized.
Yeah.
Because before the genocide, first we had one-party rule, where just one political party ruled the country.
Yeah.
Now, about 2 years before, no, not 2 years, a year before the war started,
Yeah.
multi-party politics was introduced. And the feature of this multi-party politics was the usual violence that you see in many African countries, where
Yes.
competitive multi-party politics has been embraced, where people organize themselves in different political parties. They're fighting for power, they beat each other up, there's so much violence. This is
Yeah.
what in Africa we tend to call political competition. Now, after the genocide, the system was changed. So political parties now work together, not against each other.
Yeah.
So what you have is a government which is a multi-party government, because the government of Rwanda has a cabinet where ministers come from different political parties. So this business of parties fighting each other in order to take power, that has completely been rejected.
Yeah.
So now that introduced stability, and it also helped politicians to work together on a single vision of the country that they want Rwanda to become. Now the stability, the peace, the consensus, the cohesion has enabled the country to settle down and for politicians to spend their time thinking about how to build the country rather than thinking about how to fight for power.
Yeah.
Now, because these political parties work together, if you compare today's Rwanda to Rwanda 30 years ago, it's very different. As I said in my speech,
Yeah,
for
it's
instance,
wonderful, by the way.
96% of Rwandans have medical insurance.
Yeah.
96%.
Yeah. I think worldwide I can't see this number.
Yeah, it's
Any country,
it's only in Rwanda.
it's covered by insurance.
It's
yeah.
only in Rwanda.
It's
There's no
unbelievable,
other African
really.
country where that has happened.
Yes.
Life expectancy has increased. Infant mortality has reduced. Maternal mortality has reduced. The economy has been growing very rapidly, between 6 and 8% per year for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So there is a great deal of progress. And
Yes.
even most of all, you see, before the genocide, people carried national IDs where ethnic labels were included in
Yeah.
the IDs. Now that is no longer the case. So Rwandans today are much more cohesive than they were before the genocide. And that is really what has made the difference. And as you heard President Kagame in his speech, politics of ethnic division have been banished completely for Rwanda.
This is the secret.
As far as I'm concerned, this is the secret of the 30-year stability,
Yeah.
30 years of cohesion, 30 years of national consensus.
Yeah. Because I can see it's a lot of in the neighbor countries, a lot of fighting.
Yes.
But Rwanda, it's very safe. I already been there many times.
Right.
It's very safe. It's growing year by year, and the economy is very strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rwanda probably has the least degree of corruption. There's
Yeah.
very little corruption in Rwanda, so national resources are spent on those things that are useful, that contribute to the well-being of the population.
So if I need from you, sir, a message to 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 the all the world about how Rwanda changed from the genocide, now it's a great country. So how are you gonna say?
I think the important thing for any country is for the people of that country to decide what is good for them. Now, as I told you earlier on, if you look at African countries, whether you're talking of Rwanda's neighbors or countries beyond, we have this belief that democracy is about people fighting for power.
Yeah.
That you can't have a democratic country unless you have political parties that are constantly arguing and fighting among
Yes.
themselves. Now, Rwandans have decided that they don't want to go that way. Now, over the last 30 years, there has been a lot of pressure on Rwanda to open up the political space,
Yeah.
which is essentially asking them to reintroduce the old politics of division. And fortunately, the government of Rwanda is very firm in its rejection of that kind of politics and in its desire to continue to build cohesion among Rwandans and to get rid of this idea that somehow if you're different, you therefore have to fight. Rwandans can build their country. They don't need to love each other,
Yeah.
but they can work together to build a country that works for everyone.
Yeah. You're
And I
right.
think that can be copied by other countries.
Yeah, and even the youth and the women. I see it's empowering a woman and give her a lot of chances in
Yeah.
the parliament and the government, even in the private sector.
Yeah, you know, by law in Rwanda, all public positions, 30% of positions in government are reserved for women.
Yeah.
30%, whether it's in local government or national government.
Yeah.
Secondly, Rwanda has the largest percentage of women MPs.
Wow.
Rwanda's parliament is 64% women.
Yeah.
So you can see that women have been empowered a great deal. Women have been given access to positions of power. Women have been given access to decision making. Young people, the same thing. The youth
Yes.
of Rwanda participate in all the processes in which they never participated before.
Yeah.
So there is a sense in which all Rwandans feel included in what is happening over the last 30 years.
Even the economy
Yeah.
now it's growing.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The economy has been growing on average between 6 to 8%
Wow.
for the last 30 years, and the ambition is to increase this growth to 10 to 11%,
Yeah.
and that's still possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we can highlight the opportunity
Correct.
in everything, so we can catch a lot of investor.
Oh yeah, Rwanda has, you know, it doesn't have a lot of natural resources. Rwanda previously depended only on agricultural exports, but now they have diversified the economy. They are putting a lot of emphasis on tourism, a lot of emphasis on hosting conferences and big meetings,
Yeah.
a lot of emphasis on the service industry. So the economy is no longer dependent only on agriculture. As I said, they have few natural resources, but now they are exploiting this. There is a significant degree of mining in the country,
Yeah.
but instead of exporting raw minerals, they are now
Yeah.
actually processing minerals inside
Wow.
the country. Minerals like coltan, lithium, these are being processed inside the country.
Yeah.
Coffee used to be exported as raw beans. Now coffee is exported as washed coffee. There's a great deal of processing of coffee inside Rwanda. Before the genocide, Rwandans were growing coffee for sale, almost exclusively. They never drank
Yeah.
coffee. Now a lot of coffee grown in Rwanda is actually consumed inside the country.
Yeah.
So all that is contributing to the transformation of the economy of Rwanda.
Yeah. Really, I'm very happy to have you in my show. Thank you so much, Mr. Frederick.
My pleasure. Thank you for
Thank
inviting
you.
me.
مشاهدينا فاصل رجع لكم تاني. احنا لسه بنحتفل ب 30 سنة على المذبحة ضد قبيلة التوتسي في رواندا.